Good day and you're welcome. You're tuned into another episode of the Rashad Grove Show, and we're so glad to have you vibing with us. You are rocking with the best on this beautiful day. We're so excited to be coming to you. Make sure that is correct. And we want to invite you, if you please, if you will, to subscribe to the Rashad Grove Show, Instagram. Make sure you go to YouTube and make sure you subscribe over there. We're doing it bigger than it's ever been done before, and glad to have you with us today. Thank you for all the subscribers. Almost 5,000. First season, 31 episodes or so. 5,000 is a great number, and looking forward to continue expanding to another level. But we got some news to talk about today. The NBA draft takes place later tonight, but there was a big trade that took place. Julius Randle was traded from the Minnesota Timberwolves to the Brooklyn Nets. Now, that ain't the big trade. Y'all know by now that Giannis Antetokounmpo, the saga's over. The fights are formed. The house that Giannis built after 13 seasons, the Greek Freak has left the building in Milwaukee. He has been traded to the Miami Heat. He's taken his talents to South Beach to follow in the lineage of Shaquille O'Neal, Alonzo Mourning, LeBron James, Jimmy Butler, even though Jimmy Butler didn't win a championship. Now, the latest big whale that Pat Riley, the Godfather, has harpooned out of the waters of the NBA is Giannis. And not only Giannis, but Bobby Portis. Good come up for Bobby Portis, who were traded to the Heat for Tyler Herro, Kel'el Ware, who I am big on. I think he has a great future. Jaime Jaquez, Kasparas Jakucionis, 3 first-round picks, including tonight's 13th pick, 1 pick swap, 1 second-round pick, according to sources who was speaking to Shams Charania. That's a haul, and that's a lot. But I go back to my original argument that I've stated before. If Giannis would have demanded or asked for this trade behind closed doors, because he was never going to do it publicly 2 years ago, they would have demanded even more and probably got even more in return, because 2 years fast forward, we watched him miss a lot of playoff games, injuries, 31 years old, north of 30, always dangerous for a player who plays with the force and aggression and power like Giannis. But you make that trade if you're Miami. And Bam Adebayo was the only one off limits. So they took almost everybody. They still have the Mitchell kid left, Norman Powell, Bam, missing some of my Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins is down there. If they stay, because they have some funny contract situations. But now that the Heat has landed Giannis, now I'm going to be curious to see how they build a team of shooters, some extra ball handling around him. I think the track record of the Heat, they know how to not just go sign people. They know how to develop and find people. They found Pete Gabe Vincent, and they found Jimmy Neutron out there in Detroit, Duncan Robinson, and they've developed a lot of talent, and they know how to scout in that organization. So even though they may not be on the cusp this year, but Vegas already got them like 6 favorites to win the championship. But I think next year is the year when they fill the roster out in a more elite way that you need to be checking out for the Heat to be contenders in the East and in the league. But I like what they've done. But I want to talk about who are the biggest winners and losers from the Giannis trade. I would consider it a win for the Bucks. Kel'el Ware put him right at center. Tyler Herro, local boy. Now he gets his own team. You already got some good pieces there. They got a pick tonight at 13. They got another first round swap. They have a second round pick. They replenished their cabinets, if you will, with some good young players. Got some picks. They can maneuver now. Got Giannis's contract and his extension now is off the books. So they really came out pretty swell. I didn't think they could get this much, but when the Celtics jumped in, rose the price up, the Heat had to up their offer. And I think that the Bucks will be a respectable team next year. Watch out for them. No Giannis, 13 years, man. I looked that up today. That time has floated, man, when they gambled on him. Now he evolved into, I think, a top 5, top 6 power forward of all time. Still growing. I got him in top 3 players in the league right now. 13 years. And I believe he will get a rousing round of applause when he comes back to Pfizer Forum next year. But I believe that you gotta consider the Bucks as a winner, and they gotta be a winner from the trade just to get this thing over and put it behind them, because this was going on for a long time with the Bucks front office. The biggest loser is the Boston Celtics. Dog, if it's true that they didn't pull the trigger because they wanted to hold one of those bench dudes, because according to ESPN, they offered 2 first-round picks and Jaylen Brown. I would have gave them almost everything to get Giannis. Because if the Bucks trade Giannis for Jaylen Brown, I got them right at the number 1 pole position favorite, even over the Knicks, because of what they already had. Pritchard is there. They got a bunch of shooting out there. That young center. And Tatum's going to be back in his first full season. I believe that the Celtics blew a golden opportunity to get Giannis. And they would have had a window, I believe, of 4 to 5 years of peak championship contending basketball. So I believe that the Celtics were a loser in this trade. And this may be a little controversial, but I think Giannis may have lost this trade. I wanted him to do it 2 years ago, but he's getting older. They don't have a lot of flexibility financially. The Heat are going to have to find some veterans who want to take some pay cuts. And I don't believe this squad, and I have to see about the next team they build next year, if this move puts him in championship contending like how he wants to be. I heard somebody say earlier today, and I forget it because I would have credited them. They said for Giannis, Miami is just like Milwaukee with palm trees. I thought about that. Did he really move the needle? Shout out to Justin Rose. Did he really move the needle? Because the needle was going to fly if he went to Boston. And Chris Broussard said it, and I agree with him on First Things First. If Giannis would have said, I'm only willing to sign an extension with Boston, they make that deal. So maybe Giannis lost the trade. And it would look like, folks were interested, but it was only 2 real suitors who had the resources to offer anything. I don't know why a team like Minnesota didn't offer Randall some picks if they got him, or try to present a better offer and pair Ant-Man up with someone from a permanent perspective. But I got the Heat being on the outside, currently constructed. We have to wait. They may make a trade tonight. They may. Who knows what could happen? What Pat Riley has up his sleeve. But I believe if they would have pulled the trigger, if Giannis would have really not been so on the fence and forced a trade 2 years ago, this is a different scenario. Now he's older, injury prone. Well, it all can change if he gets his brothers to sign with the Heat. Now, if he brings his brothers, they go right to the chip. Oh, if he get his brothers down there, unstoppable. When his brothers get to South Beach, get your cameras out. But I looked at and because Giannis has been injured, I think we forget how great he was. He averaged like 30 points and 13 rebounds, 5 assists, couple blocks, couple steals. Still an elite two-way player. I know we got Wemby, and Wemby's the new hot thing. But Giannis Antetokounmpo, 2-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, MVP of the league, MVP of the Finals 2021. I think this culture fits him, though, playing with the Heat, being in the best shape, playing hard, giving it your all on everything. That's right up Giannis's alley. And I can't believe that the Boston Celtics fumbled Giannis. The Boston Celtics had an opportunity. Now, what are they going to do with Jaylen, who's in Central Pay somewhere vacationing? You know, he always has 8 chips on his shoulder. He can't really have a difficult, unless they're going to sign to that 2-year, $140 million extension. He's going to have a tough time going back to that locker room, going back to that organization. Remember 4 years ago, maybe not quite 4 years ago, he was in trade talks for Kevin Durant. And now they dangled him out here again. This is official. This is not no allegations. These are offers being made. And if I'm Jaylen Brown, I'm looking at myself like, dog, they had us in the play-in. I got to the 2nd seed, best season of my life. But also, he said this is his greatest season, even though he won a championship and an MVP. Was this his greatest season? Because there's no Tatum, who knows? But the tension there and the vibes happen to be what they are. And many of the experts, the pundits, the analysts, or they are prognosticating, that's a good word, that Jaylen Brown won't be a Celtic coming into next season. If he's on the trading block, what kind of haul can the Celtics get? Probably like 27, 28. But I believe they dropped the ball not trading him for Giannis. I would have gave up all the picks and all those players, probably throwing another player or two, another pick or two. You have Giannis coming to Boston. And I'm here to tell you, even though he's 31, there's some questions about his health. They don't make Greek freaks every day. He's a one of one. And when there are one of ones out there to be had, you got to make that move. And shout out to Pat Riley. And I can't wait to see that press conference. The Giannis and Miami culture is going to be something to see. But where did the Celtics go from here? As I said earlier, the Timberwolves traded Julius Randle to the salary dump, traded Julius Randle to the Nets. And Julius Randle, 3-time All-Stars on his 16. And if I'm Anthony Edwards, I watched y'all trade away Karl Anthony Towns. 2 years later, he's hoisting the Larry O'Brien trophy as the king of New York now. The guy y'all traded him for, Julius Randle, I just traded him away to the Nets and didn't get anything in return. So I want us to be keeping our eyes on the moves that the Timberwolves are making, and keep your eyes to see if Ant-Man Edwards could be plotting his escape. I don't know what they're doing over there. The cost cutting, maybe they're on some second apron. But yo, he needs a running mate. He needs somebody serious. He's looking on that landscape of the West Coast. He's looking the Western Conference. He's looking at the Spurs. They have all you need to get to where you want to get to. He's looking at the Spurs. They got all you need. Fred VanVleet's coming back for the Rockets. The Lakers are always going to be in the discussion. Those are 4 or 5 teams right there. And Minnesota it's not a free agent destination. They got to do trades. They got to do picks, they got a draft and what have you. So I'd be interested to find out what's going on with Anthony Edwards, who's one of my favorite players. After watching Giannis go to Miami, and there was some talks early in the year that Giannis could possibly be headed to Minnesota. I love that. But whatever's going to happen in Minnesota, keep your eyes on Ant-Man. You know, he ain't got no problem telling you what he thinks. But who do you think are the biggest winners and losers from the Giannis trade? Did Giannis move the needle, or was a lateral move? Big win for the Heat. They're celebrating in South Beach. But I really think the greatest move that would have set the league on fire, can you imagine Giannis in a Celtics uniform? You imagine him pulling up in that green and white with Tatum? That would have been a game changer. But this has been the latest episode of The Grove. Once again, make sure y'all check us out. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Follow the show. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment. Subscribe, like, and comment. Shout out to all those who will be drafted tonight. I won't be there covering this time, but I'll be looking from a distance and checking out all those youngsters coming into the league. This is projected to be one of the best classes in a long time. Talking about possible 7 to 8, maybe 10 possible All-Star caliber players coming in the league. Caliber players coming into the league. Well, thank y'all for rocking with me. Make sure you share, like, and follow. And as always, you're welcome.